Welcome everyone to an Otherverse hobby video. My name is Tyson. Today I'm going to be painting Watch Captain Halgrim from Curse City. I'm going to be painting him to match the 10 death rattle skeletons I already painted from Curse City. Stay tuned to the end of the video and I'll show you my plastic to painted progress, what I got from models in the past month and what I painted.
Process with airbrushing the model Abaddon Black. I'm pretty sure I was just out of the Chaos Black primer spray, which I would have preferred, but I primed him in Mechanica Standard Gray, and in a couple minutes with the airbrush, get him black. And here we go with Barney. Obviously, I'm bald as shit, so I don't have any use for a hairdryer for the most part, except for, using it to accelerate the drying process while airbrushing, because who really wants to watch paint dry? This definitely speeds up the process, allows you to get multiple layers on a model quickly instead of spending a lot of time in between. So Mephiston Red is what I block in to get the cloak done. Now, for the death rattle skeletons, I did red on the outside, black on the inside. I decided to keep the colors for him, but I wanted him a little darker, so I did the red on the inside. I think it worked out pretty well. I used a brush to try to get into all the little nooks and crannies in the back there. Got a little spillover in the process, but the red happened first, so that when I touched up the black after, it would be easy to cover up. Then the model is actually fairly nice. There's a lot of ingress locations to get to all the weird parts of the cloak, from the back, from the front, from underneath, and honestly, it could have been a lot worse. The red over the black requires a couple coats, and letting it dry most of the way in between each one, just to make sure that it goes on thin and covers opaquely. Two thin coats, Duncan, that's what Duncan told us, so let's keep that going. You don't want to forget what the master tells us. It's easy to get used to contrast paint, or just getting that paint on there, but really there's a reason why he says that like it's a religion, because, well, it works. Next I use Mechanica Standard Gray to block in the weird kind of fallen architecture that he's standing on. Just left that on there, obviously. When choosing the order of colors to do, it's best to start with things like from the inside out, or from under to above. Obviously, I do the Mechanica Standard Gray here, because next thing I'll do is his boots with the metal color, and won't have to worry about getting the gray on the boots after, because gray will already be done. So next, speaking of getting the inside done, get Xandri Dust to hit all of the bone. Surprisingly, for a skeleton character, there isn't an awful lot of bone color exposed on this guy, but a lot of it that is kind of tough to get to, like the leg inside the armor. Little bits of hand. Oh yeah, I painted his glove and then realized afterwards that actually that was supposed to be metal. The only part of his hand that was showing in bone is actually his palm, around the shaft of the spear, the halberd there. So yeah, eventually I'll figure that out and I'll catch that. So next up is Iron Warriors. I decided to do the armor in a couple of colors, just like I did the Death Rattle Skeletons. I use Iron Warrior for the darker metal parts, kind of that aged metal look. So most of the armor is done in this color. So let's talk briefly about our intention for the channel for 2022. Wow. So I got a few videos done in 2021, started the channel. I think the launch was okay, but I've been looking for my kind of the whole point of the thing. what am I looking to accomplish? And really, when I go back to it, my intro video was Project Plastic to Painted. The website started becoming about the Project Plastic to Painted. I got a running total on there. I've got articles about how I painted, what I painted last year, and the year how it compares to the year before. But the videos kind of need to be about that process as well. So one of the things I'm going to focus on this year is that actual progress towards getting my pile of shame dealt with, and accomplishing Project Plastic to Painted. Or, well, at least as much of it as I can in a year. Here we go with the second metal color. This is going to be Iron Hands Steel. I do the chainmail here and the sword blade, just to make sure that the metal sticks out as different from the rest. Once it all gets washed, it won't be as stark of a difference, but I think it's important to add a little depth in the model. It's not like it's difficult to use a slightly different metal color for different parts of the model, but it does add some difference, some interest. And that's key, especially with a character. It's a quick character for a box set. I may or may not use him in the army once it's complete, but he deserves a little extra effort. Shouldn't be just I did that for the basic skeletons. Might as well do it for a character. So Rhinox hide is going to be used for the belt. And then the strange woodland bits that are around his base. There's some roots and some mud that the skull is lodged in, and that the bit of architecture is kind of half sank into. This actually will match fairly well the sterling mud that I'll do later, so I put a coat of that on the base as well, just to make sure that if I miss just a little bit with the sterling mud, it'll still be, still match for the base. Yeah, there's lots of little bits, little roots, little bits of mud. Brush liquor. Next, we're going to do the shaft of the halberd and the leather of the scabbard, the busted up scabbard with Mournfang Brown, just to make sure that there's more than one color for interest and depth. So later on in the year, I hope to get to battle reports. We've got plans. We already recorded a couple that didn't work out so well. I think the inexperience with the camera equipment, the inexperience with editing, and the general nervousness of putting ourselves on camera for the first times really led to some subpar attempts at battle reports. And honestly, we hadn't really figured out how we wanted to take care of that. So I'm hoping before the year is out, on top of some painting and hobby videos, we'll be doing battle reports, because this hobby is about playing as much as it's about painting. So, Brassy Brass, what a name. I just really like this color. It's a Vallejo paint. I'm going to use this for the hilt of the sword, and for the gorget of the armor, a few little other bits around the model. It's just like, it really stands out. It's kind of a little shocking, adds a bit of excitement to the model. It'll get dulled down a little with the kind of contrast wash we do later. Won't stick out so much, but I really love this color. So part of the new direction for the channel for the year is to make sure that it doesn't feel like a job, because I'm putting enough time into it like it's a part-time job, but it's not paying me. The channel here is about accountability, to make sure, I'm not going overboard with this pile of shame anymore. And getting models painted and kind of encouraging other people to kind of get to it and leap face first into that pile. Well, hopefully not me. Maybe just grab a box or two at a time. But, getting models painted. And while that's important, and that's kind of the idea of the channel here, it can't be stressful. Painting miniatures is how I de-stress. De-stress from work and de-stress from life. So I have to maintain that balance, that kind of work, hobby, and Otherverse balance. And so that'll be the plan for this year. Some Abaddon Black, little touch-ups, and to kind of get his straggly dead man hair that's still somehow attached to his skull. Too bad I couldn't figure out how to actually film it, but look how well in focus that paint is. Well, now that that's over, let's get into contrast. So first we're gonna start with Skeleton Horde, and apparently I decided to do this off camera. Strangely enough, I'm not used to this yet. It's quite the process to learn this whole thing. But now, the really important step. I'm gonna throw some Lamia medium on the parchment paper and do a 50-50 Lamia medium and contrast Black Templar. I'm doing this instead of a wash because I'm looking for the thickness of the color. I'm looking for just an extra level above just null oil. This really dulls it down and gives it some great depth. And once again, I forgot that I was actually filming this and just went to town. And it's a weird process learning to film this whole hobby thing. Then I throw some Sterling mud on. I'm not a huge basing fan, so I'm a big fan of the basing material because it just makes my job quick and easy, and it looks pretty decent. Oh, there we go. Not so bad. Get that on there really good. Like I tell my wife, you want to put it on like it's peanut butter, because it's gonna. This one's not the kind that's gonna dry and crack. It's just going to look like a pile of dirt. And intermission. So after the Black Templar and Lamia medium mix dries, I go back and I highlight with just Mephiston Red again, just to bring out some of that vibrancy back, and get a good depth from a little edge highlighting, a little layering. So let's talk about Seasons of 40K. There's a lot going on there, and some of it I like. Some of it I don't really like. So, let's start off with a little bit that I don't care about. What are we doing here? So, we're throwing Lead Belcher on the model on top of the Iron Warriors to highlight a little and bring a little metallic sheen back. So, what I don't care about for the seasons, Noctman is going on pre-order next week for the new chapter approved. In theory, I like the chapter approved stuff. Get an update, get their rules, looked at very periodically, and now they've announced that we're going to get it twice a year. What I don't care for, anyways, is the price tag. We already paid for the codex. Why do I need to pay $40 for the point changes? And from the sounds of it, there's not even a lot of point changes. It's just a few in Army, unless you're playing Necrons. We bought that. We already paid for that stuff. And I don't like to be negative, but that one really hurts, especially when it's $40 and they'll be hitting us up for it twice a year. They put Iron Hand Steel back over the chainmail and the sword to brighten those up just a little bit. Things I do like about the seasons, though, is the moving lore, the new battle, what do they call it? Battlescapes, battlefields, whatever. New rules for playing on slightly different places. I actually really like the Armies of Renown. As bad as that sounds, Zycarax Bronze we'll use to highlight the dulled down Brassy Brass. Can't get enough saying that. With the seasons coming out, we have kind of predetermined rate at which we'll be getting new expansions. And while a lot of people don't care for the fact that the Armies of Renown are coming out in these books and kind of feels like stuff that should have been included in the codexes themselves, kind of DLC, if you wish. I like the options. I mean, they're just options. Xandri Dust to highlight the bone after the skeleton horde is dried. I feel like options help the game. There can never be too many options. No one's making anybody go out and buy these things. If you don't want to pay for the money, don't. No one's forcing you to go out and get the Army of Renown. None of them are necessary to play the game, and the more options we have, the better. I like the Skitarii Vanguard. The veteran Skitarii. That's a pretty fun army to play. I think it's only good in small scale. I've had a little fun with it. I think it's a little too restrictive for a full 40k game. The Bloody Rose expansion that's coming should be kind of fun. These are just things that kind of add to the game. They don't detract. So I'm pretty thrilled to get them. And I'm looking forward to more. I want one for my Tyrannus Knights. I wouldn't mind a little something for the Dark Angels. Who knows? I would like rules for the Inquisition as well. Not just the quick rules they had, but actual full kind of posses with the ability to make some custom henchmen or whatever. There's a lot of opportunity to add depth to the game without having to be a mandatory book for everyone. So, let's check in on the progress of Project Plastic to Painted. The thing that my channel is supposed to be all about. Before we dive into my progress for the month, though, I would like to point out that I keep a running tally on the website, and I update the total every Monday, so if you want to laugh at me when my number goes up instead of going down, well, you know where to check first to make sure it's worth doing so. I'll have some links in the description below for the website, where my friends and I write about our gaming and other hobbies as a blog, and there's also a link to the Otherverse Hobby Hangout Facebook group and my Instagram account. Anyway, I bought some Star Wars models to paint. I wanted to see if I would be interested in doing so on an army scale, and the answer was yes. Like there was any chance that I wouldn't enjoy painting minis for Star Wars. At least I painted a few stormtroopers this month. My wife and I tag teamed painting 40 ghouls in one day. Well, I mean, I did the bases on day 2, but you know what I mean. We got all the real work done in the first day. Then I eBayed some new unsprue Crypt Fiends to add to the army. I just need to build my second Terrorgeist, but I don't know where he is right now. So, since my Flesh Eater's Court army is nearly complete, Kira decided that she wanted an Age of Sigmar army as well. And since she already painted up a bunch of Nurgle demons, we figured that the Maggot Kin Start Collecting box would work out pretty well for her. So we got that. I got a random Dark Souls expansion. There was only one available left on Amazon, and I'm a sucker. So, yeah, I added one model. Yeah, one model's not a big deal, right? I got 11 Marines and the Survivors done from the Aliens board game. That's called Another Glorious Day in the Core. And I also got the models from the Get Away From Her You Bitch expansion done. The Aliens I figured to finish last year. But I also bought the other expansion with 6 more Marine characters in it, of course. Lastly, on top of my Cursed City box, I added the Soulblight Graveslord start collecting during Christmas, and my FLGS was having a 20% off sale the day after Christmas. So I added the holiday box set for that because I couldn't turn up 20% off the already discounted prices. So now I have an entire Gravelord's army to paint, of course. I got some of the skeletons done that you already saw at the beginning of the video, plus some rats and bats, and of course the watch captain that I just painted on film. And, well, here he is. Here's the big reveal. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope to see you next time.